The NHL goalie market has been absolutely unpredictable this season, with goalies like Logan Thompson, Mackenzie Blackwood, and Aiden Hill all getting big contracts with good money and good term in order to play for their organizations, which are at the top of the league. Now, every single organization has a good amount of trust in their goaltender. However, the Colorado Avalanche have the best goalie situation in the league with the best contract with the highest upside as well. We're going to get into all the reasons why that's true, but before we do, we're going to open with a quote, a reading perhaps, from Zendaya. Now, she says, and I quote, "A relationship without trust is like a phone without service. And what do? With a phone with no service? You play games. Let's stop playing games in this relationship of ours. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll never have to look again for your number one source of all your Avalanche news." Now, don't forget to comment down below what you think about the Avalanche goalie tandem, or as the Avalanche like to call it, the lumberyard. So, getting right into it, let's take a look at Mackenzie Blackwood. He is signed at $5.25 annual average salary for 5 years. Now, Mackenzie Blackwood, just taking a quick look at his stats, has been an interesting goalie throughout his entire career. He was brought in to be the man in the New Jersey Devils system. He played pretty well, had some good seasons there early in his career, and that's why they call age 25 the magic age for goaltenders. Goaltending is a very different sport than the rest of hockey. It's almost not even the same sport at all. You don't play the same. You basically just sit there and have to make saves at, balls of rubber basically being thrown at you at 100 miles per hour. You kind of have to be a psycho to be a goalie, is basically what I'm saying. But he was playing amazing in New Jersey, and then he just had a season where he fell off the wagon, didn't play well, and the New Jersey Devils chose to trade him to the San Jose Sharks for something cheap. I think it was like a 7th-round pick. And then the San Jose Sharks began rebuilding his career. When you're not playing for a contender, it's easier for a goalie to not have that amount of pressure on themselves. It's also easier because all you're doing on these rebuilding teams is getting pummeled with shots. So you don't have 5 minutes where you don't face a shot. You are just constantly on your game. You're locked in. The stakes are not high at all. You don't need to win. You can lose and it'll be fine. And that's where goalies seem to find their game sometimes. And Mackenzie Blackwood did. The season where the Avs traded for him, he had a .911 save percentage on a team where he had more losses than wins. So he was absolutely playing insane when you have a good save percentage and you have more losses than you do have wins. That's an indication that that goalie is playing amazingly. And Mackenzie Blackwood is just a great guy in general. It was so sad to hear all the Sharks players be really sad that he was leaving, and they're going to miss him so much. But honestly, that's when I knew the Avalanche got themselves a stud. In 24 games, he has a .919 save percentage. 28 games, a .919 save percentage in that time, and is good, the highest, by the way, of all the goalies we're going to talk about. So he has been an absolute stud, and at a 5 for 5, you're going to see that at age 28, he is probably the best value contract with tremendously high upside, more than any of the other goalies on this list. But speaking of the other goalies, let's get right into the second goalie on our list here today, Aiden Hill. Now, the caveat to me making this video was I saw that Aiden Hill just got a 6.25 AAV for 6 years contract. He just signed it yesterday, and when I saw that, I just had to laugh, because that is such an insane overpayment for a goalie who is just mid in every sense of the word. Now, let's preface this by saying I don't want to take away a thing up from Aiden Hill. He is a Stanley Cup champion. He has done it all. He was great in the playoffs, and he helped win it for the Golden Knights. And in every playoff sense, you can see the playoff that he did play for the Golden Knights last season, he was good there too. So I'm not trying to say that Aiden Hill is not a good goaltender, and I'm not trying to say that he's bad at all. But for his contract to be $1 million more than Mackenzie Blackwood while having a .906 save percentage is just insane overpay. by the Vegas Golden Knights. And if you look at his career, he has been a career backup. The most amount of games he has ever played in a single season is right now at 39. And that's only a 906 save percentage in that time. It is just not good value. And this just makes me look at Mackenzie Blackwood and smile even more. Now, let's look at our third goaltender here, Logan Thompson. Now, I actually like Logan Thompson a lot more than Adin Hill. However, you'll notice that he signed for 5.85 AAV for 6 years, as compared to Mackenzie Blackwood's 5.25. Now, at a glance, this doesn't really seem like that big of a difference, but that absolutely can make a difference where a player making league minimum, that being $750,000, that's a player that makes league minimum, can absolutely change games. You saw it last night against the Calgary Flames when the Avalanche played them. Parker Kelly, a player making league minimum, had 2 goals in that game and helped the Avalanche win. So money counts in every sense of the word, no matter where it gets. Now, looking at Logan Thompson's contract, it's actually much better. I honestly really like his stats. He's been more of a career backup his entire career. Vegas, funny enough, actually had Logan Thompson, and they decided not to re-sign him, and he ended up signing with the Washington Capitals. And it looks like, to me, the Vegas Golden Knights chose the wrong goalie to keep. They should have let Adin Hill walk and kept Logan Thompson. Because as you see, in 37 games, he has a 916. He's actually been playing pretty well for the Washington Capitals. Now, lately, he's actually began to fall off a little bit. I would know since I have him on a fantasy league team, and he has been costing me points. But he has been a good goalie for the Washington Capitals. However, if you kind of look at the rest of his career, he really hasn't ever been the guy in any situation. He's played well in a backup role, but unlike someone with a bit more of a proven good track record, like Mackenzie Blackwood, it's a bit of a risk to give him not only a year longer on his contract than Blackwood, but also for a little bit more money. And that makes me look at the Colorado Avalanche's contract system and just have to enjoy it. Now, an underrated hero that I want to point out for the Avalanche is Scott Wedgwood. Now, Scott Wedgwood definitely wins the handsomest goalie in the Colorado Avalanche system. I'm sorry, Blackwood. Wedgwood just has all of his teeth. But looking at his stats, he's been a career backup. And that's what Wedgwood is going to be for the rest of his career. Wedgwood is a veteran backup goaltender who is playing amazingly in Colorado. Actually, this 12-game stretch that he's been playing in Colorado has been his best by far. He was traded to the Colorado Avalanche by the Nashville Predators for Justus Onanen. He was the Colorado Avalanche back in the beginning of the season, and unfortunately, while the kid had a lot of promise, he was just not consistent at all as a backup, so they switched him out for a veteran goaltender. Now, Scott Wedgwood is making $1.5 million AAV for this year and the next, so he is putting up great backup numbers while also only being on a $1.5 million AAV contract. On average, a backup goaltender usually makes 2.5. So that is an extra million that the Avalanche are saving on Scott Wedgwood. Add that in with the amount of money they're saving on Mackenzie Blackwood from now on, and that is a great goaltending tandem. And honestly, I am so excited to see what the rest of the season brings. The Colorado Avalanche went from being a team that only brought in a career backup goalie and paying him minimal amounts just to see him maybe put up 9-10 save percentages. That's what they did with Darcy Kemper. That's what they tried to do with Georgiev, and it worked for about a season until he absolutely fell off a cliff. Now, this episode will not fully be committed to hating on Alexander Georgiev, but believe me, there will absolutely be hate towards Alexander Georgiev later in this season. Hate for Alexander Georgiev has a place on this channel. That guy sucks. He should not be in the league. He's the worst goaltender in the league. And the only reason I'm saying this is because he decided to do an interview the other day where he called out the Avalanche for playing him less and didn't understand why everyone lost trust in him. Honestly, if he can't see it at that point, then he can honestly ponder that when he's back in Russia. Really, the Avalanche have so severely improved their goaltending situation with Blackwood and Wedgwood that you forget the dark days of Alexander Georgiev and Justus Annunen. Now, I wish all the best to Justus Annunen. I think that kid can have a great career as a good backup or a tandem goalie. I don't think he's a number one goalie in his career, but he's definitely a good goalie. I think that the Avalanche are primed for the rest of this cup window while having these two cost-efficient contracts, and allows them basically an extra million in cap space to bring in whoever they want. So as the Avalanche continue making a push for these next few years, it's going to be great to have a big goaltender in Mackenzie Blackwood backing them up. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Avalanche Digest, your number one source for all Avs news, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, Avs faithful. Thank you for watching.